All right, welcome back to the podcast. We are in part 2 of our very special How to Build Self-Discipline series. This is going to be about 7 episodes or so. If you don't have the context for this, you're going to want to go listen to episode 1 in this series where I lay out exactly why discipline is so dang important, why I'm actually making this content. We got a lot of requests from people wanting to talk about discipline, I guess, which is funny. I never thought of discipline as like a super sexy topic, and yet people are like super jonesing for it because I think everybody struggles with it, myself included. In understanding if you want to overcome procrastination, if you want to overcome self-sabotage and laziness and distractibility, then you need to understand the enemy that you're fighting, which is what we talked about in yesterday's episode. So go back and listen to that. What we're going to start now is we're going to kick off the 6-part framework for developing unbreakable discipline. And so this is over the next 6 days. I'm going to share with you one part of the framework that I want you to take and internalize, figure out how to apply it to your life. And if you do, on a consistent, long enough basis, you are going to develop unbreakable discipline. Okay, that might be overselling. You're probably not going to. It's not unbreakable. It just breaks less frequently, and that's the key. Is that we're not trying to win every day. We're trying to win most days, and we're trying to be making progress, not seeking perfection. So, number one, the first part of the framework that we're going to talk about here today is that you treat every decision as though it's important. Okay, so you probably heard of Abraham Maslow and his whole hierarchy of needs. I've talked about it a whole lot, and whether or not you agree with the framework, it is a helpful way of contextualizing the human experience, which is that we need to have our base needs met, like our physiological safety, food, those shelter needs met before we can start ascending the hierarchy to the higher levels of, self-fulfillment, actualization, purpose and meaning, those things, right? But once you have those base things met, then you can start moving up the ladder. Okay, so most people are familiar with that framework from Maslow. However, he had a different framework, which I found even more impactful in my own life because it gave me a lens through which to view the decisions that I make on a daily basis. And it turned these decisions that were menial or seemingly irrelevant or not important, it turned those into critical decisions, each one important in its own way. And what it did was it created this discipline towards making good decisions always. So here's the framework. I call it the +1 framework of decision making. So I want you to imagine that you're standing on a road, and in front of you, that road, it twists and turns and it winds off into the distance and it disappears on the horizon. And at equal distance along this road, there are signs. The signs say +1, +1, +1, +1, each sign. But if you were to turn around that same road, it goes off into the other distance, into the other horizon, and there are signs at equal distance there. And these signs say -1, -1, -1. Now, here's the thing about this framework that I find so powerful, is that those signs each represent a potential decision that you can make. And in each moment, each decision that you make is either going to move you forward 1, or it's going to move you backwards 1. Now, of course, there are decisions in life that are more important than others. Where to go to school, who to marry. Those are more important than decisions of what should I eat for lunch. However, when we are diligent with the small things, we can be entrusted with the big things. So when we build the practice of being diligent and making good, solid decisions, even with the irrelevant, unimportant decisions in life, then we can be entrusted to make the really big, hard and decisions. And this was really powerful for me because now it wasn't about making the best decisions possible around a few things. It was every day was an opportunity, every moment was an opportunity to make the +1 decision that would move me forward or it would move me backwards. And so that could even be things as simple as, should I drink this water right now, or should I just go get another coffee or get a soda, right? This is not a big decision, but if I choose the water, it's a +1 decision. And I can say, I made the good decision here. I made the decision that my best, most ideal, perfect, greatest self would make. And the goal is to think about it in this way, is that over the entirety of your life, if you were to be the perfect, greatest version of yourself, then you would have made the +1 decision at every juncture. You never would have made a -1 decision. You would always be moving forward. And yet you cannot do that, obviously, because you're human and we all make bad decisions and we all go backwards. But recognize that when we make the -1 decision, when I choose not to drink the water, it's not just denying me the opportunity of moving forward. It's also moving me backwards one. So every good decision that we make moves us forward one. But every bad decision that we make actually moves us back two, right? Because we move back and we lost the opportunity of moving forward. So bad decisions, even the small ones, impact us more greatly than the good decisions. And this is why it's so important that you make consistently good decisions that move you forward, that you make the +1 decision. And I find this important because now, instead of beating yourself up and saying, I made that bad decision, I did this thing, I fell off the bandwagon. It doesn't matter anymore because that was just one decision. It was just one decision, and now the next decision that you have to make is going to be another opportunity to continue on the path, right? You don't have to continue making the bad decisions. You can put that one out of your mind, move on, and say, moving forward, the next one is going to be a +1 decision. And when you do this on a consistent enough basis, then you're going to feel this sense of motion, this forward progress that is self-fulfilling in its own way. Like, progress begets more progress. And the first thing that you have to do if you are on that slippery slope and sliding backwards and making a slew of -1 decisions is just to stop the slide. Stop making the -1 decisions. And you do that by focusing on what's in front of you. Focus on the small decisions and start making those +1 decisions. So that is our lesson for the day. Step 1, the first part of the framework for developing unbreakable discipline is to treat every decision as though it's important, because it is. So I hope this brought you a little bit of value. If it did, maybe just go drop a review. Maybe go share this with somebody that you think would get some value out of it. If it didn't, well, I'm sorry. Maybe try again tomorrow, where we're going to dive into the second part of this 6-part framework. I'm really excited to keep diving into this because as I dig deeper into what I think on the topic of discipline and what served me well, I'm actually discovering some tools and how to use those tools in ways that I forgot. And so this has actually been very beneficial for me as I battle discipline and laziness and distraction, self-sabotage, all those things. I battle those things on a daily basis as well. So hopefully you're getting as much out of this as I am. And as always, guys, I appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll see you again here tomorrow. But until then, stay hyper-focused, my friend.